UConn 83, East Texas A&M 59. By game win for the Huskies. I guess we watched the basketball game tonight. That's all I'm going to say.
Sure.
We had an basketball experience, I guess you could say. Solo ball, leading the way with 14 points tonight. Harold Reiba, 13. Been in the top 2 in scoring like 3 games in a row. It's kind of wild. Alex Caravan with a workman-like 12. Braylon Mullins, 10 points. Only 17 minutes. Pretty efficient night for him. Not the most aesthetically pleasing night, but I'm not sure that we could probably really expect that from them.
Yeah.
After Tuesday night, getting in at 5 in the morning, which may be an aggressive timeline because they were still dilly-dallying at 11:45 p.m. Central Time in the parking lot. I know that because I was very conscientious at the time.
Because they had to put 150 play cards back in the bus.
They did have to do that.
I got to meet tonight the young man, the staffer who was responsible for that, and thank him. And I learned how he also was on the staff. He drove all the way out to Indianapolis to the Butler game a couple years ago to show how bad he wanted the job or something. And it's from that to doing all those cards, that's the kind of grind that it takes to get a job in this stupid industry they work in. And I respect the kid for it. He's a huge part of a major win. And it was cool meeting him tonight. Yeah, tonight Dan wasn't very upset post game, so I'm not going to be. We could do the all-time performative anger thing here tonight about how lethargic that first half looked. I think we all knew that was coming, and it happened anyway. And you just kind of got a cop for it. The good news is they played much better in the second half. I thought especially Braylon Mullins, who, in the funniest thing that could happen, the first half is kind of a mess after what he did on Tuesday, right? But in the second half, he was great, and you could really see him becoming a lot more assertive, which is what you love to see from a freshman, kind of trying to take advantage of the fact that he is by far more skilled than anybody East Texas A&M has and get more comfortable into the game. So in his 10 minutes in the second half, I thought he looked really assertive. He was 4 for 8 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. So that's the Braylon Mullins that I'm hoping we see going forward, especially going into tomorrow night. I'm going to wait for a second source on it because I started rambling about the football coach. Folks,
yeah.
I feel tremendously happier than I did 3 minutes ago about the status of the football coach at the University of Connecticut. But I can't really work that right now because I'm doing this show. So,
is this breaking news? Will this be breaking news on Connecticut Basketball Spaces?
I have the ability to do that, but I'm not.
This would be our first breaking news on
the space, and of course it'd be about football.
It's about basketball,
right? Tonight we're going to get into trees, artificial versus real. So this is going to be a weird one, given that it is the space after UConn 83, East Texas A&M 59. So just the first half was so weird, man. They ran a set every 5 trips, basically. Yeah. And then the rest of it was just I could hear Sweet Georgia Brown in my head, the Harlem Globetrotters music, as just, here's Alex Caravan standing in the logo of great UConn alumnus Madison Reed launching a 45-foot 3. Here's Solo Ball taking an air ball.
Can I just say that tonight's Dan presser was pretty pedestrian, but he may have given us the moment of the year so far in the Dan presser. Dan didn't know that the logo was...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Dan didn't know that he forgot what the logo was, that he stands on pretty much the entirety of almost 20 basketball games a season and practices on 60 times a year. Didn't know what the logo was. Had to call in poor Bobby Mullins. Phone a friend. Literally just locked up and then had to have Bobby come on camera. They had a very classified conversation. And then mentioned the Madison Reed thing and Alex and Solo shooting from the Madison Reed logo. And then, I don't know what made him feel compelled that he had to do this. But went into, it's almost kind of like when we get on skates, we forgot to do, a sponsor read.
Yeah.
He's like a logo that, logo that we have a privilege to play on and shoot from.
From a great alumnus. Madison Reed. Yeah.
Great alumnus.
It was the fact that he brought, and I did watch, like coming home, I watched it because you had told me about it, and the way he brings Bobby in, like it's literally. I'm sorry to use this.
It was the highlight of the game.
It reminded me of when Ari Fleischer told George W. Bush about 9/11, like the way that he brought him in close to just get the sponsor.
We even got the reflective moment for him too, to kind of be like, all right, how am I going to attack this now? I just forgot the sponsor.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of sponsors, this show is sponsored by Store Central. We appreciate them. Store Central is a huge impact for UConn and IL across all sports, including football. Would you like me to break a little news?
Bracking.
The new head football coach of the University of Connecticut is Jason Candle. I'm going to throw it out there now. I now believe it's true. It's done. There you go. Now back to basketball. Tulane tried. They failed. So yeah, tonight was just a weird night in the first half. They really they just didn't run offense. It looked like what that bye game always looks like, even if it doesn't have a Kansas game.
Well, surprised Dan in the post game was like, oh yeah, we got to do a better job of scheduling. Like we played the short turnaround bye game for 35 years at UConn.
And it always looks like that.
Horrible. It always looks. Remember when we played Pine Bluff a couple years ago and we're like down for 10 minutes?
An all-time shit show that we could see coming, and it still happened.
Pine Bluff, and then was it Maryland Eastern Shore? I think that was the other one where we just looked like dog water. Or was that last year? One of those years.
Well, so
it was 22 or it was 23.
Last year, the canary in the coal mine for how that thing was going sideways was this game.
Yeah.
They looked like shit in this game against a transitioning up team. It had the best individual play moment of the year, which was the Jaden Ross dunk on a guy, but
sure.
It was equally a dead Gamble Pavilion. Tonight was the difference I'm looking forward is in the second half they played much better, and it's an East Texas A&M team that has come a long way and is coming a long way, and part of why Dan schedules them is so defensively they switch everything. It's the sort of game they should have played before they played Kansas, honestly, because now they don't have very good players. They have a couple of players who played well tonight, but they play the same sort of defensive style that would prep you for Kansas, albeit at a much lower, first grade level of that, in that they switch everything. And that's tonight you can only shoot 16 threes, which for them is extremely low. In the first half, they only took 6 in the first half. They were 1 for 6. They were awful shooting from 3, but they just, because East Texas A&M switches everything, UConn's thinking they're going to pop someone open. It's not going to happen. This team flew up here. They're selling out to cover everybody. They might not be, they can't, but they're not going to lose because they leave Alex Caravan wide open.
I thought they played they played really hard tonight. East Texas A&M. Tip of the cap to them.
Yeah, they play extremely hard under Jared Von Rosenberg, who's a coach that, you can't look at the win-loss record because it's a hopeless program. But they've been an okay defensive team. They've been a dog shit offensive team since they came to D1. They can't put the ball in the basket to save their lives. But they're East Texas A&M, right? So kind of is what you would expect at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they've always played this game. They've always looked like shit. And the reason that they've always sort of played this game is because in the Big East schedule, you usually have 2, on certain years, 3, quick turnarounds where you got to play a team on 2-3 days rest. So the idea is let's simulate that. Probably not a good idea to simulate that coming off Kansas. But, alas, whatever. They got through it. They looked better in the second half. Defensive effort looked pretty good for the most part. Rebounding left a little bit to be desired. The offensive wasn't great.
They win points. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you could just, I'm not even, I don't want to nitpick here. Solo took some shitty shots. Alex looked a half step slow. Rival looked a little soft on the ball. Silas was a little slow in decision making. Braylon looked like he was asleep in the first half. Malachi almost like clotheslined a guy in the first half. It was pretty funny.
I respect the hustle, but he was really jumping into the crowd a couple of times, chasing after the ball.
He was all over the only guys that looked like they really had pep in the step tonight were Jaden Stewie. I thought, all things considered. So
the two guys whose minutes might be impacted most by Braylon Mullins coming out to play more. So message received.
Absolutely. So, all things considered, it is what it is. We're on to Florida, fully recovered from Kansas. And look, I mean, I don't know what you think, but man, oh man, if they can get through Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, tonight, points of the paint 58-22 UConn. So it was, they simplified it tonight. That will not probably be the deficit, the discrepancy on Tuesday. Yeah, if they can get through Florida on Tuesday, look out. I don't know if you saw what happened to Texas on Wednesday evening.
Yeah, Texas is, let's just say not as good as maybe expected.
I hope
that they were expected to be.
I hope the money's worth it, Sean. Yeah, if they can get, and it's going to be extremely tough Tuesday. The size thing is huge. Tonight, no Terrace. I would have been furious if Terrace played in this game.
Yeah, no, this is the game he definitely did not need to play in.
Man on the ground observation. Didn't see him wearing a boot. Post game, I hung around a little bit. Wasn't wearing a boot.
Yeah.
Moved fine. Hopefully Tuesday. I think he'll play Tuesday. I thought he was going to play this past Tuesday, though. And they're going to need him, I think, in that game because that team is crazy, gigantic. I think UConn can overwhelm them in the backcourt, but the front court is a problem. And
yes,
excited to watch it. Should be a hell of a game at the Garden for the Jimmy V. But yeah, Alex Condon, Thomas Hoff, Chinelu, like those are the guys that a lot gets made out of the Henglot. That I can't pronounce his fucking name, Hengotlin, because he's 7'1" and all that, but he doesn't play. So they're gonna have to deal with Condon and Hoff, especially. And Chinelu. I'm very excited for you to break down the Boogie Fland experience in the backcourt, but the front court is a huge problem in terms of the matchup. And UConn's going to need Terrace Reed to be able to, along with Eric Ryba. And, it's a huge game for Alex defensively, who was so good in the Kansas game defensively, making up for what they didn't have in Terrace. But this is another level in terms of a front court on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably one of the top 3 or 4 front courts in the game.
Yeah, it's a bottom 10 backcourt, but it's a top 5 front court.
Yeah, it's a yin and yang game. I mean, it's going to come down to our guards versus their front court, and who's going to be able to, do the most. I mean, I kind of feel good about us. I was just trying to look for the Ken Palm spread here. We're looking at
3. It's 75.
They're by 3, which, I think that's about right. I could see us winning by 5 or 6 points. I think the thing with us and why our guard rebounding so big is because we take a lot of threes, and when you take a lot of threes, you usually get long rebounds. So your wings, your guards, are going to be more active. So I'm hoping that negates things a little bit. Well, we got to hit those threes, and our guards got to be on to win the game because Terrace, Eric, maybe a minute or 2 for Dwayne Cuomo. We're going to see how fouls go. Could be a long night for them. It's going to be a very, very busy, active night. Very interested to see Condon and Alex.
That should be interesting. And we get to see Madison Stugarden. As you said, Jalen Stewart shows up at MSG. Usually magical things happen. It's going to be a big spot for him as well in that game. They're going to need all the guys with size they got. I think it's a big spot for Silas, who I thought tonight was fine. 5 assists, 1 turnover, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, 8 points in 27 minutes. Silas isn't wowing you off the page, but I think Tuesday night it would really help to get the BYU level performance because he should have that advantage in the backcourt. I also think that the part of the offense not really fully clicking yet is you can see it live or watching on TV or at the game. They're not fully reading the stuff right away. And you got Silas and Malachi, new to this very complicated system. They're reading it quicker. It's getting better, but it isn't the fully oiled machine yet. They're just not seeing the slips fast enough. There was a slip Tuesday night with about a minute to go where Alex is wide open underneath, and Silas just didn't see it in time. And it was a possession where they ended up missing a basket. I think it was the possession they missed where Kansas had the ball left with 25 seconds left, down 3.
And it's not just Silas,
Alex
though, too.
wide open.
Like, I want to be careful because I think, Silas is the guy with the ball, so everybody kind of fixates on him. Like, some of the off-ball movement's not great tonight, too. I mean, we saw Braylon make an early cut for the basket. Alex threw one away tonight. It's going to take a little while for everybody to kind of get in sync. I'm not that worried about it because he doesn't cough the ball up a lot. And all things considered, it's not a clean offensive game from him, but he's pretty consistently getting 5 or 6 assists a game. He's not coughing the ball up. He'd score anywhere from 5 to 10 points a game. It's serviceable enough. Not that that's what they're paying for when that's what they want, nor is that, I think, what Silas wants offensively. He's absolutely slow to recognize lobs. He's slow to recognize the slips. And I think he does get a little indecisive. There was a play towards the rim in the second half today where he kind of drove sort of baseline and then dished it to Stewie, who dished it to Ryba. And I don't think the 3 of them were standing more than 2.5 feet from each other when he should just go right up with that basketball. It's just going to be little things like that. We talked about this in the preseason, man. This just isn't an offense you pick up and everything goes burr from the point guard position. It takes a lot of doing it and figuring it out and coming through it. What I'm not concerned about with Silas has been the defense. I think he's been really good defensively, and so you're not turning the ball over. Your length is playing up on the defensive end of things, or at least it looks like it is. I'm not checking the metrics out right now.
His steal rate is really high. If you value that, I've been impressed with him defensively, and the recognizing the lob thing. That's a 2-person responsibility. Eric's been great, but Eric never sees it, never offers for it. There are times when Silas releases, it's tonight where he wanted to throw it, and Eric's the idea of going up for a lob just isn't in Eric's vocabulary yet.
Dunking the ball doesn't seem to be in Eric's vocabulary.
Exactly.
Right now,
so
a little soft when he catches the ball high.
They've got to just decide to go with it. And that might not be Tuesday, given what they're facing, but eventually they're running the play that's creating it. They just have to commit to it.
Yeah, by the time we get to late December, early January, I'm going to be very unconcerned with.
Yeah, it's just what is the thing to improve? It's that, and that unlocks the offense. And getting Turris back does. It's still a top 20 offense even without that. And I also still think they're doing this while Solo is still shooting under 30% from 3. Alex tonight was 0 for 4 from 3 and was shooting them from the big blue box again. I'm a little nervous about Tuesday because it's another NBA floor, so we know where those threes usually come from. But if he wants to do what he did Tuesday and knock them down in the second half, I'll take it. So, yeah, big test on Tuesday. I love the fact that as weird as tonight was schedule-wise, 7:30 Friday, they've got 4 days, basically 4 days off of recovery time now to get ready for Florida. So that's great. And then after that, they've got the long week. Well, not really the long week. I forget the Butler's a week from Tuesday. Oh no, I can't read.
We got another 4-day turnaround.
Florida and Texas next week. Oh God, it's getting to me now. Yeah, so next week's a big week, but they gotta get Florida first. And after that, Texas looks terrible, but you never know.
Yeah, we get an interesting run of opponents after that. Butler, DePaul, Xavier to finish the year.
Shouts to Xavier. Big one tonight. That Xavier win over Cincy is a top 5 non-conference win for the conference so far, which tells you how bad things have been, but fair enough.
I love the crosstown shootout. It always delivers.
It's the best. The worse the 2 are, the better the game is, by the way. Oh.
Yeah, all the time. It doesn't matter whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. That game always delivers. But yeah, like I said, I think the cohesiveness is going to come with time. I'm not. There's nothing I'm watching on offense and I'm like, oh no. Because we just have so many offensive weapons that guys have enough in the tank between all of them to kind of get you to where you need to be. I think if we had sat down in early October and said, Solo Ball is shooting, under 30% from three. Mullins would be gone for pretty much the entirety of the first month of the season, as would Terrace Reed. What do you think things would look like? I think we would be painting, and Silas is a little disjointed offensively. I think we'd be painting a very dark picture in October. If you did not tell me.
I think there's a very credible argument that UConn is the best team in the country because of the things you just said.
Well, that's my point. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think, I think once this team is finally whole again and we've got it's funny to say, sounds so weird to say this, but like Butler, DePaul, Xavier might be games where they kind of work out the kinks. Like that, those might be those games where they kind of do that. I know it sounds like an insane thing to say given all the history of everything, but, provided they get Terrace back on Tuesday, which that sounds like that is going to be the case. It's going to give them a solid 5 games through the month to kind of get everybody on the same page and get rocking and rolling. And even in spite of it, got to win against top 10 team.
Yeah.
2 wins against 2 top 20 teams, a win in Fog Allen Fieldhouse, and they took Arizona to the 1-yard line with a busted up, underperforming roster offensively. I feel good about it. And, look, I mean, they drop on Tuesday. I don't think they're going to drop the game to Texas. But, I think we all were kind of like, yeah, man, if they can get through this gauntlet 4-2, you got to feel pretty good about that. They go 5-1. I'm thrilled.
Thrilled. Absolutely. And then from there out, the rest of the schedule, except for the game at St. John's, let's be honest, they're going to be favored in 19 of the final 20 games they play. Maybe all 20. So, yeah, it's setting up to be pretty special, but that they're going to drop a couple of them. You'd expect. It always happens. Of course, it's Seton Hall, obviously. But, Tuesday's huge because if they get Tuesday, it's a feather in the cap, and they really need to get it because there's just not going to be the quad 1 opportunities in league this year by all accounts. Like their next 3 games are 3 of the, if you look at the 5 biggest games they have left, you can make an argument that 3 of them are the next 3. That Butler game, it might be crucial for the metrics, but we'll see. I think Villanova's going to really improve, and some of these teams can't play much worse. So, yeah, on to Tuesday against the Florida Gators, the last 3 national champions meeting at Madison Square Garden after the AJ DeBonsa show, of course, comes to New York. We all get to nauseate ourselves through that. And hey, at least we're not Kentucky.
Oh,
they had a fun night, didn't they? Thought they had it all figured out.
Oh. I tweeted it earlier. Is there a chance that Kentucky sucks for a very long time?
No, because if this is what it is, they will pull the ripcord so fast your head will spin.
Okay, sure. Who wants the job?
Yeah, I wouldn't take it, but they'll.
They pulled the ripcord last time. Couldn't get Dan. They couldn't get Scott Drew. They couldn't get Nate Oates. Nobody wants the fucking job.
They pulled the ripcord on Billy Gillespie, and they got John Calipari out of it.
They did.
They John just Calipari go back to
proven Final Four guy at 2 separate programs, one in Conference USA and the other in the Atlantic 10. Like, who would be the guy? I'm sure they could probably maybe get somebody like on a short turnaround, maybe a young up and coming guy, But like, who's the guy?
They go back to Scott Drew and they just pile more money in front of him until he says yes. Because I don't know.
Do you think they go after Todd Golden? I can't see Todd Golden.
Yeah. Or Nate Oates, or they go back to Scott Drew again. Because let's see what this Baylor season looks like. I think they'll be good, but they're not as good as they were a few years ago when they were the best in the sport, right? Like maybe Scott Drew kind of realizes he's kind of hit the ceiling there in a league that now you got to deal with Arizona and you got to deal with BYU having a bank. Iowa State's really good. Like now the SEC isn't any friggin' picnic, but it doesn't look like the SEC this year is what it was last year. Last year might have been the outlier. So they could still get Scott Drew back. I wouldn't rule that out. And it's Kentucky. They're going to be fine. Like if they suck this year, and I think they might, and $22 million for that shit, Jesus, even with guys not playing, like I can't believe it's that bad. I'm stunned they're that bad. They'll figure it out. They're Kentucky. The biggest takeaway to me is that Mark Pope himself admittedly looks lost, has no idea how to reach this thing. And he looks like a guy who's scared and knows he can't land the plane. I don't think he's scared about like losing his job. I think he's scared because he's just overwhelmed by this right now. And that fan base will not make it easier. I think he knows that. I think he knows how bad it is and that it is the worst place to be when it's that bad. That's the worst job in the sport to have when it's bad. Full stop. Like that, I would rather be at Mississippi Valley State going 1-30. That job bad. It's it's untenable. Like Calipari didn't get enough credit for how long he stuck that shit out when it was bad. Most people aren't putting up with that shit.
Maybe they get Brad Underwood. He's
Yeah.
excited to go to Dubai.
No, he couldn't wait. He could not wait. Oh, God. So we got a lot to talk about tonight, including UConn 83, East Texas A&M 59. And if folks would like to talk about it, they can do so on the Martin Russell's Wiener Weiner line.
Hot dog, the UConn Husky season is here, and the good folks at Martin Russell's are here to keep you fueled so you can keep foot on gas throughout the year. Hot dogs, kielbasa, sausages, deli meats, you name it. Not only can you grab what you need for the big game at their retail store at 45 Grove Street in New Britain, they'll even bring the meats to you and ship them across the country. That's Martin Russell's, the official sponsor of Connecticut Basketball Space's Wiener line. Folks, it's time to get to the meat of tonight's show. And by that, we mean the Martin Russell's Wiener line. Taking calls, check-ins here for the next hour. So, Hurley Mania, why don't you go and cue some folks up? Actually, you could also make me the co-host, and I can do that for you.
That's probably what I should do. If you want to request a co-host, we can do that.
I can do that, I suppose.
While I wait for folks to jump in, either nobody wants to or Elon's broken the friggin' thing again. Could be either. I'm still thinking about Tuesday. Sorry, I know we shouldn't talk about it tonight. I still can't believe it. The whole thing was wild.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk a little bit about it because I think everybody and their mother missed it, and then what we put out on the internet was basically just a.
Oh God, I know what that show
awesome.
sounded like, folks. It was great.
I enjoyed it.
Immensely. I think we had a good time. I think we enjoyed ourselves. I think folks could tell. I'm trying to bring no escalators in here, and we'll see if this site loads him in less than 45 minutes. You know what? While I do that, Cash Fraud, you actually requested first. Cash Fraud, you can go ahead first, and then we'll get no escalators in.
How dare you?
Yes, I like that it pisses you off. That's part of my spiel. Cash Fraud, if you can do it in less than 3 minutes, go ahead.
Dan looked beside himself when Rezron attempted that three at the end of the game.
Yes. I'm so glad he did it. Oh, yeah. Rezon getting it at the end there, deciding he wanted to be Herriba was a decision.
I looked to see if he had ever attempted a three before. And he has in his national career. He's actually a 500. He's shooting 500 from three.
Was he 1 for 2?
I'm not sure because it's on Real GM. It's kind of. He's probably along those lines. He's actually a better 3-point shooter in his career, in his national career, than he is a free throw shooter. He's shooting 485 from the free throw line and 500 from the 3-point line. Usually a sign of a good shooter, right?
I'm going to get in front of this, by the way. There is a better chance that I play Tuesday night than Rezon does. I know he has size. He is not playing against Florida. It's not happening. I'm going to break that one. That's my hard-hitting analysis. But it was nice to see them roll out the Millender, Elihaj, Panovich, Furphy, and Millender lineup at the end there. That was a group of humans.
By the way, can we just talk about how there's nobody that is more excited to be a UConn Husky right now than Alec Millender?
I like watching him play basketball.
Nobody likes being a Husky more than Alec Millender. I don't think anybody was more jacked up after the game. All the guys were like so cooked after the game in Kansas. Alec Millender was not cooked. He was extraordinarily excited to see everybody and to celebrate the big win. So shout out Alec Millender, most enthusiastic employee of the year.
Yes. Oh, we did. I didn't even hit on this. Jacob Furphy, his first basket. We finally got to see Tazzy.
Yep.
So I don't know how much more we're going to see of him in a game like Tuesday, but it was good to see him get involved a little bit in the second half.
Are my 3 minutes up? Or
yeah, you can comment. I'm fine with it. Because the more I let you talk, the angrier No Escalators get. So I'll let you keep going.
I'll keep going forever then.
Well, one more thing.
One more thing. I want to be fair.
No, there's nothing I can say that's. Hurley, did you like Kansas? You haven't talked about it very much.
It hasn't come up often. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun tonight. Like I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know I knew this would be a come down, but like Jesus, it is the gap in experience was different. But Tuesday night should be pretty electric at the Garden, so we'll be back up. Tuesday.
It was a weird trip, man. I felt like I was gone for a week, and I was gone for quite literally 48 hours.
Yeah,
and I felt like I was also awake for like 5 days.
If you just tap your feet, you might end up back there.
No. Definitely enjoyed the arena. Definitely enjoyed the game. Definitely enjoyed the people. Definitely enjoyed the experience. Kansas is a place.
Driving there is like we discussed this. Driving there is literally, if you have ever driven to Syracuse, it's the same drive. It's just I-90, just a straight line, nothing but farms.
Yeah, if you do if you're you obviously drive. It's like driving Hartford to Stores. It's almost like the identical same drive, except take the space between Hartford and Stores and make it the New York State Thruway, but flatter. And there you go. You got Kansas. That's the experience.
Thank you, Cash Rod. Appreciate it. No Escalators. I've made you wait long enough. Did you enjoy seeing Alex Caravan shoot from alumnus Madison Reed's logo?
So I did not see that one. I did see Solo attempt. What I'm going to say is a poorly thought out shot that I don't think hit the rim. But it's impossible for me to care at all about anything with this game tonight. I will forget this game ever existed at 9:03 p.m. on Tuesday.
Yes, correct. That shot was wild, though.
Malachi topped it.
He did. He did. Yeah, it wasn't just that they didn't run sets. It was that everyone tried the ISO shit they tried was so horrific. I actually enjoyed it. We got a couple of that from Jaden Ross too, even, but at least he got free throws out of it. Yeah, no, it's all about Tuesday night, and obviously they'll need to be tighter. They'll have some rest. They'll prep for Florida. It's hard to take much of anything from this game as a contest.
No, I'm excited for Tuesday, the last hard game of the regular season. And so I just have two other observations. One would be that even though you have proclaimed we hired Jason Candle, we're apparently in a battle with Tulane for him. I hope we prevail on that. And I will note that 10 years ago, this year was the worst football game ever played. UConn 7-3 win over Tulane. The 7 came on a pick 6 in what felt like a Noah-style flood. And
on
now
ESPN
they're in the
News.
playoff. Now they're in the playoff, and we will be potentially beating them out for a coach, which I don't know what to make of anything with that, but it is what it is. The other thing, and this is the important thing, is that multicolored Christmas lights are a abomination and a crime against the holiday season. And you promised that you would atone for your sins on this call, and I would just like to hear you do that publicly. Have a
I'm
good night.
so glad that you brought this up because I was actually going to cut to it because this was going to be the space about Christmas trees. Yeah, no, I have and he does an Irish goodbye. That's fabulous. Yes, we have an artificial tree in my house.
Disgusting.
Which is wonderful because among other things, it has the technological advances of many lighting options, including the wonderful multicolored lights. You can make them.
That's where I'm a multicolored light guy too.
Wow, thank you.
No, I am. I'm a multicolored light guy.
I'm stunned by that.
And I'm an icicles guy too.
Oh, that's you can't do those two things together.
Yes, you can. Fuck yeah,
that's
you can.
Insane.
Yeah, it makes it awesome. It's like fucking dropping shrooms in your living room at night. It's amazing.
I was just gonna say, it's like that's an insane combination, sir.
40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, everybody did it. Everybody did it. Multicolored lights.
What about the last 35, 40
icicles,
years?
Like that clean Christmas tree shit is so bogus. It's so fake. So low effort. It's weakness. I like white lights. They're clean. All right. It looks great. It's not Christmas. All right. It has a place in the Christmas universe, but Christmas is a multicolored. I always gravitate to the multicolored lights. Drove by a church tonight. Multicolored lights.
Yeah, I always have been a multicolored lights person, but I will, to what no escalators hinted at, we set the tree up, and it has the many settings. You can switch the lights, steady, flashing,
the
slow,
plastic
dim.
tree thing's a disgrace.
When we set them to the white lights, I got to be honest, it looks pretty great. That's our current status is the white lights with the slow fade. Elephant in the room. I'm Jewish. I'm not practicing. My wife's always practicing, and we have a 1-year-old daughter. I'm not going to say no to Christmas to her, right? So we'll do a Christmas tree. I love Christmas trees. I love the way they look, the sights and everything, and it's really great.
Who gets mad about holidays? Right? Like, you want to put a lot of holidays on the same holiday? I'll celebrate them all. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's an excuse
I'm bringing
to
no
not go to work.
Back in.
Is an excuse to drink too much. Is an excuse to tell family members that you don't like what you really feel about them. Like, people get mad about that. Can you imagine that?
What it is an excuse to do is you have your fire lit. Maybe you play like a classical waltz in the background.
Oh,
you have a nice cocktail. Wow. Maybe there's a wreath or some sort of garland around the hearth. And you have a understated classical look rather than living inside of Randy Quaid's house in Christmas Vacation. Christmas is a serene time, one for a bit of reflection and enjoyment of the beauty of lights, but beautiful, clear lights that illuminate the darkness without a garish, like 80s blue, ruining the effect.
Big colors flashing along to the music.
Did they have nice, clean white lights in the movie Gremlins? No, it's multicolored lights. Because it's a Christmas movie.
I think I can rest my case on that.
I need to know but before you go, your stance on the icicles thing.
So, no. Forgivable outside, maybe. It sounded like Hot Balls. You have icicle lights inside of your living room.
Oh, no, not icicle lights. You take the icicles. It's like the what do you call it? Like the streamer.
Is it the
thing.
tinsel?
The tinsel,
Is this tinsel?
Yeah, they call them icicles.
Oh, tinsel on the tree?
Yeah. Big tinsel guy. The icicle tinsels. You don't know what that is?
Not for me, but I can. Like, how much? Is it like a touch of tinsel?
A solid amount.
Or is it everywhere?
Do you think it's a touch of tinsel from him?
I mean, we don't avalanche it. I mean, it looks great, I think. I love it. Kids love it. People with taste love it.
I will give no escalators credit because my tree does look vastly better with the white lights. I will concede that.
It's a piece of plastic, that's why.
Bullying works.
Yeah. Then my wife goes upstairs and I hit the button 3 times and I switch it to flashing color lights. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, I do have this battle with my children because they like the flashing colored lights, and I have a string of lights that does have the option. And so they will come and they will change it to its like flashing
Kids know what's
rainbow.
going on. That's why.
And then as soon as they go to bed, it is a beautiful, pristine tree. So I just want you to know you guys have the exact taste of my 4-year-old. So
Yeah, it's nothing I didn't already know before this story, but that's fair. I'm stunned you didn't like disable the feature on the lights to even be able to do that.
if I could, I would.
Yeah, but the artificial one's nice. Don't have to worry about it dying in my living room, dropping sap everywhere.
See, I love it.
First of all,
I love
how could it die in your living room? One, you just spring for the Fraser fir, which it won't even drop uh, the needles. It's gonna hold on to them like Loctite, and then you just put a little water in it every day. It's not hard. You have them cut up the bottom, you get it in water within an hour, and then you just don't let it not be in water. Get a big base.
Are you hot balls? Are you a Fraser fir guy, or are you just what's the cheapest one you've got left on the lot guy?
No, I like the balsam. I like the smell. You got to go through for the smelly tree. Although I don't mind the Fraser fir. That's okay. I like the hunt though. I like the art of the hunt, of going out into the wild and massacring your own tree.
So we have
something carnal about it.
We have a beautiful tree farm near our house.
Yeah.
And every year, the day before Thanksgiving, we go there. They have like a little like tractor that pulls like a train through the tree farm, so the kids do that, and we get some hot chocolate and hot cider. And they also charge like $300 a tree. So as soon as we're done taking photos, we leave and go to the local Amway where we buy a tree for like 25% of the price. That's our
Tremendous
tradition.
That is smart parenting. That was
We've
part
got
of my fear.
There's a great one in it's on the Enfield Summers line, and the guy, he goes like 2 years at a time, and then he's down for 2 years, but he's back up this year, so I'm pretty jacked. We're going Sunday to get that tree, and that's the experience.
You're going Sunday. You're gonna have that tree for like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
No escalators. When did you buy your tree? November what?
We get our tree every year the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then decorate it on. This year we went to the Illinois game, so we did not decorate it on the Friday, but we decorated it on the Saturday.
We go first weekend of December to the first weekend in January. Very simple.
I will keep the outdoor lights up until January. The tree is gone before New Year.
No, we keep it up through New Year. I'm okay with the tree being there for New Year's. I don't want to do any kind of labor or anything, whether it be work or inside the house, from December 25th through the 2nd, until I absolutely have to. It's not happening.
Purchasing a live tree before Thanksgiving is psychotic behavior.
I mean, it's like 6 hours before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Hurley Mania, I do want to put on your radar something I suspect Hutball's children are too old to have experienced, but I highly recommend for you, is the Elf on the Shelf.
Oh yeah, we have it.
We did Elf on the Shelf with my youngest. My oldest just got it in 2 seconds. She's like, "This is stupid. Why are we doing this?"
The kids are like fanatical about and so locked in on nobody touching the thing, and it's like every morning is Christmas morning trying to find it. It is a wonderful innovation, though. The baby in the house accidentally touched it yesterday because he doesn't get it, and the older children were despondent that the magic might be lost, which was an amusing sort of story to concoct about how his particularly remote hiding place today was so he could recover his energy. But a real thrill.
Yeah, we got one. We haven't, and I know we should get it moving because it is December 6th. We have to actually get it out of the box now. We're just so clueless on shit like this, but we knew to get it. So I'll probably get started on that tomorrow. So
you have a year till the magic kicks in. Next year, the magic will start, and then this will be my last thing, and then I'll drop. For anyone with particularly young kids, I don't think it's a great movie, but I have found for multiple children now, the 2017 animated Grinch movie, which is better than the Jim Carrey movie, but of course worse than the original cartoon, is somehow drawn in a way that it is absolute catnip for children. And if you want to occupy a 2-year-old for 90 minutes when nothing else will, that green dude wobbling around the screen somehow does it.
Thank you. I
Highly
will
recommended.
absolutely take any advice in that I can get in that realm. I'm definitely not doing the Polar Express. That shit, it's too weird looking. I can't do the Uncanny Valley stuff. I can't.
My kids love Gremlins. That's their go-to.
Oh my God.
Fucking love it.
Thank you, No Escalators. Appreciate it. Bring some more folks in. Allison, only throwbacks. Nice to see you've survived. What are your takes on either tonight or on Christmas trees? I'll take anything at this point.
I have in fact survived, which is very surprising, considering all of the incredible things that Southwest put me
Oh God,
through
how bad was
on
yours?
this trip. I mean, headed down, I had a layover, but I still somehow had 3 different planes and 4 different de-icings and all kinds of nonsense. So coming back, just having a normal, like, oh yeah, we're delayed. It's fine. It's fine. I was able to kind of take that more than I expected to on the way back, because the way to Kansas was the most hell that I have ever endured. But at the same time, that was kind of just a foot on gas. We have done that for the team kind of situation. So I decided that was my penance, and it led us to a win. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to say it's all right.
You gave a lot of yourself to get that win, and I appreciate it. So thank you. And I know, yeah. Did you fly out Monday? People who flew out Monday were the ones that had a lot of problems, I think.
Yeah, Monday was a 5 a.m. flight with a connection through Chicago, and yet still landed 11 hours after the posted time in Kansas City.
Yeah, speaking of Chicago connections, Hotballs, you had a fun sprint through your favorite
I did.
airport.
Hot balls at full speed through O'Hare Airport. That was not fun on the way back. But thanks to some folks from UConn Twitter. Shout out to Kyle. I made it. We made it. O'Hare was a disaster on Wednesday. Like a 5-alarm tire fire. Every flight they had coming in and out was delayed. So very fortunate. But I got home in one piece, but very, very tired. Very tired.
Allison, were you there tonight?
I was there tonight, yes.
Was it? It was a little weird, right? Like were you able to get into it at all?
Yeah, so I was kind of having that feeling. I mean, we had talked about it before the game even happened, just being like, how do we approach any other game after having this ridiculous Kansas experience? And, you know, I was there, I gave it the old college try, and I'm not going to say that I was not into the game. Obviously I was. I yell, I scream, I do my thing. But it was definitely a strange kind of atmosphere switch. I mean, Husky Sled kind of put it best. He goes, I feel like I'm suddenly at a high school game, because that's kind of the comparison that we have. Like, okay, we go from the fog and the most crazy atmosphere to a cupcake at home, which is completely understandable, but at the same time, you're like, I don't know what to do with this. This particular game was very confusing, and so, I mean, I threw myself in it as much as I normally do, but, and I admit, I was surprised at the attendance tonight, especially in the lower bowl. I didn't see nearly as many padded seats empty as I normally do, which, wonderful, we love that.
Yeah, But
it was a little surprising just in general.
I mean, I somehow ended up with one tonight, thanks to Mal, who was able to get 2.
Of course you did.
No, it was all Mal. She had 2. Hey, I paid for a ticket tonight, unlike Mal, so I just got a much better one out of it. Yeah. No, I don't at all criticize like UConn fans for it. I think if the situation was reversed, like I think if Kansas was playing East Texas A&M tonight, the fog would be a little deader than what we experienced Tuesday. It kind of is what it is. And it all builds, the easiest way to kind of get through it is you have the next week like they have. Tuesday's going to be electric at the Garden. And then Friday night, 8 p.m. game against Sean Miller on Fox. I think that situation will take care of it.
It's honestly hard to transition out of any game like Tuesday night was. A live experience. And I know we talked a little bit about this last spaces, however we were talking about it. The noise and the energy in that game was a different noise and energy than I've been. I mean, I went to the first one, and this was a significantly rowdier crowd.
Really?
I thought this time through.
100%.
That's good to know. I meant to ask you guys that.
And that was batshit. That was batshit. 2024 was batshit. This was like ultra shit. In terms of just the overall energy of what was going on. Because obviously, you know, we're coming in 24 defending national champs. Dan's got some brand recognition. But there's been a whole 2 years since that. Another national championship. Last year, the Lakers coaching thing. I was kind of taken aback at how preoccupied Kansas fans were with Dan.
That surprised me.
I'm not disappointed. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I can't believe that, like, people act surprised about that. I actually think it's funny, and you know, it's to be expected. Look, these people are from Kansas. They don't have a lot.
Yeah, my thought on it.
You got to protect what you have, right?
Yeah.
And you know, Kansas basketball. Yeah, they're not the skids. They've been fine the last couple of years. But you know, they're not what they were in 22 and leading up to that. And I think there's definitely some vulnerability there. And yeah, I feel threatened too. So, you know, I would be chanting "fuck Dan Hurley" if I was a Kansas fan, over and 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 over again. But yeah, I mean, there was just a whole level of heat to that game. That was different. It was just so nip and tuck too. It was like a really kind of gritty, grimy, hard fought game. It was physical. This year, like, it was funny, kind of going in there in 24. It definitely had like this feeling as a UConn fan there, like we were the barbarians at the gate. You know, remember when the Vikings sacked Paris for the first time and didn't succeed? Kind of felt like that.
Well, I mean, I don't remember because I wasn't there, but I'll take your word.
You know, well, yeah. If you ever watch Vikings, they sack Paris. It doesn't go well.
Oh.
And everybody's there, and then you like send in SEAL Team 6, the sickest, most deranged people on the internet, and it felt like a SEALs mission. It was like there's probably 10% of the UConn fans there that were there 2 years ago, and that's what it felt like. I mean, and then just the way the whole game went, Posty almost getting thrown out, just added a whole other layer of energy actually in the building, which is really funny. Because it got really chippy, especially as we started to like gradually chip away at their lead and eat into it and start to pull ahead a little bit. But the decibel level in that building legitimately got to 126.7. The record in that building is 130. And for, you know, folks to kind of have like a comparison for that, like that's an Air Force Base tarmac, 130. And it was legitimately that loud. And there's just like sounds that you hear in your life and you're like, man, this is a really crazy loud arena. And then there's sounds where like it physically like is like absorbing your energy. And that's what it was like. I just loved the energy in the building, the atmosphere, two big teams. Even though I don't know if the outcome either way would have had like a significant impact on anybody's season. It felt like it did in real time. And then to see, you know, it's not just about getting that first win over Kansas. Like, that's a nice thing to have. But to do it in a place where, you know, Bill Self is some, like, obscene.
Is that like his 20th loss at Allen Fieldhouse in 22 years?
Yeah, he's like 186 and, like, 6 out of conference.
It's like the Geno. It's like a Geno record.
Yeah, I mean, and when you're there, like, I mean, I know a lot of people pop off about their atmospheres and their home arenas and shit. Like, I'm not trying to make Kansas fans out to be any more Looney Tunes than anybody else because they're really not. but the acoustics and the way that the building is engineered is so completely different from everywhere else with the steel and the concrete. And like, even after the game, when we were running around being a bunch of fucking troglodytes, it sounded like there was a lot more of us there than there was. Like, you could get 30 people doing a chant and it would be like really loud. Because just the sound carries in there completely different. And then everything's just right on top of the court. That's the other thing. Gample's kind of got that effect a little bit too. Did it with Cameron. But like, the energy in Kansas. Kansas is Cameron, but times like 3 or 4 in size and then acoustics. It's just not the same thing. And so for our guys to get through that, just the whole script, the game was like a symphony. You know what I mean? It had all these goofy, crazy chapters and twists and turns to it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, little add-ons from, you know, like the signs that we were using, and just everything about the game fucking ruled. It was an incredible live game experience. You don't get a lot of basketball games where you get to experience something like that. It was really special. And whether we end up in the Big 12 or we end up getting hooked up with them again, I really recommend that anybody that's listening to this, you get a chance to go out there and do that. It's a different thing, man. There's just certain places you go and they're distinctly. It's like going to Fenway, Wrigley, you know, Yankee Stadium for all those years till you guys fucking tore it down and built the Sunglasses Hut. You know, it's like that kind of a atmosphere in place. It's like a museum monument to the game that just is absurdly, perfectly, imperfectly engineered for just the thing that it was supposed to be engineered for, and it's perfect. And it was an incredible experience.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where, like, even if UConn isn't playing there and you haven't been, like, if they're playing TCU, go. Like, just go. It's
part arena and it's a museum all at the same time. Like, it's, you know, they obviously have the museum aspect to it, but like, I'm not even talking about the exhibit. Yes, unjustly, the rules of basketball are there. Yes, they've got a lot of cool stuff to stare at. Yes, they have a whole adjacent arena that's basically the lower concourse. Like, the whole lower concourse that's where all the trophies are, all the old jerseys, all the nets, all the mementos, everything's there, right? But that's not even the highlight of the museum. The highlight of the museum is just walking and wandering around the place and all the little nooks and crannies that it has. And then seeing, you know, Kansas fans inside of it, who are an interesting lot.
Yeah.
Did you guys see?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Did you guys see Potter Lake at all? Like, where they throw the goalposts in the lake after like big upsets in football?
I don't think so. We walked across the whole place at 1 a.m.
Okay.
So I did see the football stadium what they're doing there looks incredible.
Yeah.
When it's going to be done, because they're building it in 2 parts. So you have 50% dog shit stadium 50s and 50% spaceship right now.
It's a little bit of everything there. It's a bizarre campus if you haven't been. Like, it's not, going to Kansas is not what you would expect the Kansas campus to look like at all. It is very hilly. A lot of Gothic architecture.
Shovel the snow. They do not shovel the snow or the ice.
It's very beige. Very hilly, very beige.
Very hilly, very beige, and a lot of weird, like, it's an odd architectural mixture. Let's just put it that way. You kind of get like the old Gothic, like, college, New England prep school, like, you know, buildings, but you also get like tenement housing. And then like weird modern buildings. It's a hard place to describe, but it's not anything like you would expect it to be. But if you're staying at the Hotel O-Reed, order an Uber to go back and forth, by the way.
Yes.
Very long drive.
Yes.
It's a long walk.
Learned that the hard way. Yeah. Allison, thank you. And I hope to see you on Tuesday. That will be more like this past Tuesday than tonight was, I would think, in terms of atmosphere. Although, I'll tell you, hot balls, the BYU fans in New York City in December, that should be an interesting observational study for you.
You're going to have to learn about a whole other place in the world, Madison Square Garden. BYU versus New
and they get to see UConn fans
a second time.
rowdy again.
Yeah.
That should be
And
interesting.
they get to interact with, there won't be any Clemson fans there.
There will not be any Clemson fans.
They will get to interact with Florida fans as well, because there will be some Florida fans there.
That is true. Thank you, Allison. I'm going to go in order here. Mike, you've been very patient. UConn fan, Chicago. What were your thoughts on anything, really, that we talked about?
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you.
Cool. Just some general musings this evening. Hurley Maney, I think you mentioned that you were a non-practicing Jew, so you may not have heard of the mitzvah moose, our version of Elf on the Shelf.
Wow.
I may have to procure a mitzvah moose. I love this.
Yes, the mitzvah moose. Each point of the antler is a candle that burned for 8 glorious nights.
There we go. Love that. That's tremendous. Yeah, we do have a menorah, so we're kind of. It's like what Hopball said. Give me a holiday, I'm celebrating it. So.
Yeah, check out the mitzvah moose and l'chaim to us all.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Then let's see. Nothing too much about the game tonight. Although now this is our second year in a row playing East Texas, and seeing Jarrett von Rosenberg out there coaching, and we all know the meme of Matt Damon aging at the end of
Saving Private
We Were
Ryan.
Soldiers. Yeah, Saving Private Ryan. He was the point guard at Hartford when I was working there.
Oh, boy.
So every time I see us play them, I just age another 5 years.
Yeah, and it's a really hard job that he's got, but God bless him, he's trying. He's trying to get him to move up in the Southland a little bit this year.
Yeah.
Last year they went, 5-26 last year. Not great.
No, it's just wild. And then, I was a day late listening. I listened to a little bit of the space from the other night, obviously, because you guys were doing it so late. And you got on the conversation about the all-time regular season wins. And I definitely feel like that should be maybe like a holiday poll that you put out when everybody's on Christmas break or whatever. Because I was at the 1990 St. John's game, which was the Gamble opener, and going back to the mitzvah moose part, I wanted, in that moment, I think I wanted Nadav Hennefeld to officiate my bar mitzvah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That has to be on the list. I don't know if it came through given how that space sounded. We talked about 90 against St. John's, but especially the Georgetown game. That's like the Georgetown game might be the most important one.
Well, that season, I think Georgetown and Syracuse were within a week of each other.
Yeah, it was a big week. Yeah, back to back. But
back to back.
There was something about the Georgetown one that I've always been told resonated more. That was before my time, so I'll defer to those folks. But yeah, those three really. The 98 Pitt game was a lot of fun. But I love that game forever for Khalid up on the table. But that was a Pitt team before Pitt was Pitt. Like that was just they avoided a really shitty road loss in the funniest way possible. Stanford win in 98 was a tougher win. They had to do it on the road without Rip Hamilton playing, and Stanford was top 10 team at that point. Just trying to think of, the Indiana game in 2008, I want to say, the one where Jim Calhoun wanted to hug all my players post game because they were so shorthanded in that game, and Indiana had a great team that year. It was as Kelvin Sampson was that whole thing was falling apart there. A bunch of big East wins, in the mid 2000s too. But in terms of non-conference, man, it's hard to top it.
Well, I was going to bring up that Stanford game because was that? I don't think that was 98. I think that was 99.
It was the 98-99 season.
Yeah. Because they beat Stanford at home in the Elite Eight year, and then they gave them the return in 99, and that was the one where they had lost to Syracuse without Jake and Rip.
Yep.
Yeah, brutal game.
And
First week of
yeah,
February,
this takes up like
they had 3
yeah,
games in 10
yeah.
days, and it was brutal. They had, I think it was Syracuse, Stanford. Well, they had a game right before that on the 30th. They had St. John's, who's like top 10 that year. Syracuse was top 25. They dropped that, and they had Stanford on the road. So they had Johnny's on the road, won that. Syracuse coming back home, lost, and then went on the road to Stanford.
Yeah. And those stick out for me because those couple of games take up like 2 or 3 pages in Calhoun's book, which I may have read a couple times. But yeah, the Stanford game, I think Khaled went off. And, in Cal, if you remember that section in Calhoun's book, he talks about how Mark Madsen had it circled on his calendar, and all they talked about was winning a national title and beating UConn at Maples, and college just made him eat shit for 40 minutes. It was great.
That would be Cal head coach Mark Madsen, which is
They also beat Michigan State earlier that year at home, who was like the number 2 team in KenPom that year. They were also Final Four team.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. The Carolina 1-1 is fun, even because it was such a blowout. But that Carolina team was so dog shit. The Oklahoma win in 03-04, tremendous in-person experience. They just beat the piss out of a good Oklahoma team that day. The Indiana game in 08 was with the Jerome Dyson suspension. But I mean, that team ends up flaming out at the end of the year. So yeah, no, a great one. Tuesday, I can't think of.
It's hard to beat the Georgetown game because Georgetown
Yeah.
was undefeated, number 1, and they were a fucking buzzsaw at that point. I think that was that Morning's last year. I think that was when they had him and Dikembe.
It's Morning and Mutombo.
That was Morning and Mutombo.
Yeah. And that was loaded.
That somehow didn't go to a Final Four, which feels impossible when you have 2 Hall of Fame centers.
Yeah, that was the year UNLV won it. So,
fair.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Where was Georgetown?
They end up losing in the second round to Xavier, which is
oh my god,
just crazy. Yeah, UConn.
So
UConn ends up getting boat raced at Georgetown in the return game. So, yeah, that was January 20th, 1990. Was that whole January 1990? If you want, like, what's a month you'd want to relive as a UConn fan? I feel like that month is up there. Gamble opens. They start beating these high-end teams. All the promise of the program's coming true, but in a way that nobody anticipated, like at a level that would have been a wild time.
Yeah, and I had no business being at that game that night. I think I was 10 years old, and my parents have been season ticket holders since the 70s. And I think for whatever reason, like they had 4 tickets and like somebody couldn't go that night. One of the adults couldn't go that night, and I got to go. And yeah, that's just something you take with you for a long time. But then, a loss that kind of came back up in my head this week, the reason, I got like kind of emotional with the Kansas win the other night because I was at the game in 97 with freshmen Rip, Kevin, and Jake. And it was the game right after Kirk and Ricky got suspended?
Correct.
Yeah,
and UConn was up 20 or 15 early.
Yeah, and back then, in that era, if you go up 20 the game, you win the game. Like it was, yeah, they emptied the complete tank on a Sunday afternoon in Hartford, and just a loaded number 1 Kansas team had enough to catch them.
Yeah, they lost. That was a streak. I think they won 2 out of 7. They went 2-7 in that stretch. Lost to St. John's, Kansas, Miami, Syracuse, Providence. I think I remember
that was a Kansas team. That was a Kansas team that lost once in regulation.
Oh.
It ended their season.
Who did they lose to?
They Arizona in the Sweet 16. and it was an Arizona team that would win the national championship. That's what it took to beat that KU team. 85-82 in the Sweet 16. Their only other loss was in the border war. It came in double OT. So, yeah, at the time they beat UConn, they go 18-0. They would run out to 22-0. So, an incredible. That's one that's kind of like missing in my memory because I was starting to get into the team a little bit, but like I wasn't going to games, and I'm only 13 at this point. But yeah, by all accounts, that was a wild scene in Hartford that afternoon, and I'm really thrilled that we get to bring him back out next year. And I would like everybody on both teams to be healthy for that game and able to play. And I would like Bill Self to be the coach. And I actually have kind of visualized how I want that game to look in my mind, and that's why I wanted a Gamble Pavilion. I can actually see the shots in my head. It's right after they do the open with Gus Johnson and Bill Raftery, and it's the camera that's at center court with them, and it's panning out to both teams getting ready to do the tip. It's Eric Ryba, it's Flory Badunga, and Gamble is about to fall apart with how crazy it is. And I want to see that in that building.
Don't forget that loss that we had to them in Kansas City, 94-95.
That wasn't a loss. That was a murder.
That was an annihilation.
Yeah.
I remember coming back from a ski trip with my parents and listening to that on the radio for a half. That was it.
A couple of folks have chimed in. I appreciate in the mentions. Other regular season wins, Kemba and Maui was obviously incredible. I was trying to think of like non-neutral site ones, but that's a really, really great one. Great list to go over. And yeah, Tuesday night's right up there. Tonight less so, but they happen. Let's see if Tuesday night can be another memory. Kind of don't want it to in a way, because I feel like I'd like UConn to win that game somewhat comfortably, but it's going to be a huge test with the bigs they've got up front. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that walk down memory lane, and I will.
Thanks, guys. One last quick thing, and I'll hop off. Hot balls. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen your spirit animal on social this week?
Which one?
The drunk raccoon in the liquor store.
No, what happened to him?
Oh, just Google it. Just Google drunk raccoon. It's been all over. It's been all over the place. There's a raccoon. It breaks into a liquor store. It gets into the booze. Passes out in the bathroom. It's just glorious.
I just Googled it.
It's the greatest.
Just saw the picture. I'm excited about this. Thank you.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest minute on social media you'll have this week.
Oh, fantastic. Can't wait to take this in. Thanks for the content.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Let's see who else we got. Penfield. Well, do you have a voice yet? Let's start there.
Okay, here's the test. How's it sound?
It's better. It's getting there.
Okay. I'm trying to get ready for Tuesday, so I'm trying to keep the yelling at the children to a minimal and drinking tea. We'll see how it goes.
And you deserve so many kudos for Tuesday night. The big red chant that came through on the television was your leadership.
Yeah, I can't believe that. Honestly, there was I know there's other UConn fans in the building, but it felt like it was 12 against 15,000 people.
Yes.
In a way.
Because specifically one of the 12 decided that he would like to make it 12 against 15,000.
Yeah.
We were all fine. We were actually fine for about 30 minutes. Everybody was great. And then he decided, what if I pour some gasoline onto this jet engine? Let's see what happens.
I remember specifically asking him, did you give them the middle finger? And he was like, no, I did not do that.
That's the most any human has lied in human history. Because I'm staring at him, and it couldn't have been more what he did.
He almost pulled both of his rotator cuffs out, thrusting his arms out with his middle fingers. I also grabbed my balls, so I don't know if that got the folks riled up, but Posty was a little bit more animated than I was. So, it happened.
Well, I knew immediately when they were like, it was the guy with the backwards hat. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
He did something, but
yeah, it was not subtle. I'll leave it at that. And also at KU, one of the many great things is so that there's a student section behind each basket. So it feels like it's a massive student section. Somebody told me it's only about 2,600 of the building. It feels like it's 40% of the building though. And so because there's one behind each basket, we were next to one of them, and they were very perceptive of what Posty was doing, and they had some thoughts on it. So that's what led to that was why. It wasn't just like fans were upset. It was like the student section lost its shit. And so they make enough noise. Here comes guest services, and so a legend is born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally got his push out of the mid card.
I've seen that kind of scene play out so many times at Gamble Pavilion, like Providence fans, and then a little bit this year with the Arizona fans.
Yeah, the Arizona one.
And to be on the other end of it was just, I loved it.
I was thinking I should have brought this up with Allison earlier because I walked back to our cars out of the Arizona game with Allison. It was wild how we were on the other side of it. I enjoyed Tuesday more.
It's way more fun to be the bad guy. Ask any pro
hypocrite.
wrestler in the business. They'll always tell you it's way more fun to be the bad guy. Go take it from me. It's way more fun to be the bad guy.
I've obviously I went to the Kansas game 2 years ago. I've been to a couple road games, Providence. That experience gave me life, and I've been thinking all week. It's just so hard to live up to that, and part of it was just being the asshole in the arena. Every time we did that chant, and the people were turning around, being like, "Shut the fuck up!" It
was only the students that were like that level of vitriol. All like the KU older fans were just like,
People got mad at us. I don't know if you noticed the people behind us were more so upset than the people in front of us, but
I didn't notice it until I watched the video, and I was like, "Oh yeah, everybody behind us wanted to murder us."
Yes.
The accused is going to be joining us shortly here, by the way, to try and defend himself.
Excellent. I was happy tonight seeing that these 18 to 22-year-old kids were not the only people that had not fully recovered from the experience. Because I've just been sitting here all week like a shell of a human being, unable to get back into the routine of regular life. So that first half, I was like, I know how you guys feel. But luckily Dan got through to them and they turned things around a little bit.
Yeah, and the fact that Dan was so relaxed about it post game is why I'm like, we're fine. We're fine. I mean, it wasn't great. They only won by 24, so it wasn't great for Ken Pom. And they've now been passed by one of the hottest teams in the country. Mark Byington's doing an incredible job at Vanderbilt. They're really good.
Oh, wow.
They are second in Ken Pom offensively.
Wow.
That shows how quickly you can turn things around, where in your second year at an SEC program, you can have a top 10 team, or you can be Kentucky.
You could. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed the Kentucky Spaces tonight. They had.
I have to go back and listen. I'm so excited.
Well, I don't know how well it recorded because Elon's website was fucked up tonight.
Oh, good. So it wasn't just us. Okay.
No, it was not just you guys. Some of the highlights were, there was a larger contingent of people complaining that the issue was that Pope wasn't willing to pay top dollar to get the best players. And it's like, do you guys realize that you have the highest paid roster in college basketball?
For who? Anthony Edwards?
I'm not even.
They suppose.
I think DeBansa was really the biggest complaint. But
DeBansa? Well,
yeah.
BYU has a bank, literally a bank, that's currently capitalized, and hold on, let me check. I need to get the number. This is very important. Hold on. Their current revenue valuation is $2.7 billion. I don't think Kentucky's good for $2.7 billion. That's how much money BYU has. They weren't going to get the Bansa.
Is the entire Kentucky economy worth that much money? I'm not quite sure.
I mean, what's Old Pappy currently, bourbon currently trading at? Like, it's old. How much old fashioned can you get? Yeah. Of all the issues with Kentucky, not enough payroll being one of them is a wild thing to say. I think too much is the problem, and that's why they're where they are.
I don't even think it's just too much. It's just the idea that they talk about it so visibly, and of like just like it's such a Southern SEC thing to do. Look how much money we're giving these boys. Like, come on, man. Just clam up about it already. Oh.
Yeah.
They're
So obviously, then it's Mark Pope's fault. I don't think it's like I wouldn't give him a pass or anything, but like I don't know. These people are just unbelievable, and all of them were saying we knew from the beginning this guy was going to be dog shit. And if you just look back at the tweets, that is not what they were saying.
I mean, he was
not at all
their third choice, but
I know, but they were very quick to come around to him and proclaim that the Dan Hurley era was over and it was Mark Pope was running college basketball. So,
yeah, that was why early on, even though I like Mark Pope, I was a little bit like, this is a lot of projecting. Like, it isn't just that Mark Pope's great. It's like, yeah, fuck Dan Hurley stinks. Scott Drew doesn't know what he's doing. His era's over. I'm like, you could just say your guy's having an era. Like, you sound really, you're doing the bitter breakup thing with somebody who never even dated you.
It wasn't even a bitter breakup. Right. He didn't even interview for the job. They couldn't even get him on a plane. Like, just a bunch of illiterate rednecks that don't know their place in the world, that project all of their life value to their stupid college basketball team and cannot process that somebody that was really good didn't want them.
Yeah.
Like everybody else in society does not want them.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is what it is. And they got Mark Pope, who me personally thought that was like a really good hire for them.
I'm still not convinced he's a bad hire.
Yeah.
Like,
same.
He might have put together a bad roster of some guys that are there maybe for the money, maybe the problem, in roster continuity, So, yeah, I'm not even convinced he's a bad coach, but the worst part is I feel like he seems like a really nice guy, and these people are just going to destroy him. Like,
yeah, it's because
I can't even imagine.
It feels like they're taking out the vitriol they hadn't used on Calipari, what was left, and they still want to use it, so that it's going there.
Right.
And
then the same thing to Tubby Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. And the fact that Arkansas looks fine, like the Calipari kind of got a nice
they
team.
were just like, that team is fucking terrible. We dodged okay, well they did get a win over a top 6 Louisville team the other night, So they're completely fucking unhinged, delusional stuff.
Yeah, well, it's the thing about this goes back to hot balls. What you talked about, the whole when was the last time Kentucky? I think that's why it's like this. I mean, they haven't.
It's about 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, they made
their last really legit team was probably 18 or 19.
Yeah, I mean, last year was their first second weekend team since COVID. Like it's not Mark Pope's fault, but a lot of this vitriol is built up, is just residual anger from the last Calipari years going so sideways.
They were pretty good in, 2023?
Yeah,
right?
And then...
yes, right. But they... look at the whole season. I understand the frustration with, their performance in March, but they did have a good team that year.
Yeah, even if you look at their team that went 38-1, if you look at that roster, it's not as good as you think it would be for a team that went 38-1, and that was an amazing team. But it's Cat and the Harrison twins and Willie Cauley-Stein. It's not, the UConn roster from 2 years ago.
Yeah, 15 was their last real Kentucky team. Well, I don't know. Their 17 team was pretty good.
17 team was good. I wonder if just not finishing off the thing in 15 was just they could never just get over. Maybe it's been 10 years, but is there residualness to that?
What was the season?
They've only had 3
Devin
top
Booker playing 10 minutes a game.
But the other thing is, you understand, like they've only had 3 top 10 Ken Pom teams since 2015. A lot of years, like in the low 20s, 30s, and like you can say what you want to say about a lot of teams. Duke doesn't deal with that. Kansas rarely deals with that, although Kansas is dealing with it more. But I also just think that we're kind of in a transitional period in college basketball, right? Where I think a lot of some of the blue blood teams
Mm-hmm.
and the more consistent programs are like kind of just figuring out. I mean, it's the same reason big market teams fail in pro sports. I think there's some organizations that's like, if, it's obviously they've had a slow run of it the last couple of years, but like the St. Louis Cardinals have never had the ability financially to bang with the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Red Sox, but have always found a way to kind of be that, upper mid market, like be very comfortable in that. And because they've had those financial constraints, it's forced their general managers to have to be intelligent about how they spend their money. You can't just kind of like, fucking chuck players, give them a shitload of money and then have a lot of places to offload them when it doesn't work out, without either A, eating the money or whatever. And, the Yankees for a couple of years and now the Dodgers. Now, like, there's like one organization in baseball that has the financial freedom to just kind of shed shitty money, right? Most owners are just not going to tolerate that. And there's always going to be a wall, right? And you look at Kansas, you look at Kentucky. I really think it's safe to say they've struggled to a degree in the transfer portal era, where you can just kind of go get anybody you want. And like, they get on guys fast. They throw a shit ton of money at them. And I'm not sure the evaluation is like where it needs to be.
It reminds me a little bit of what St. John's is going through right now, where it's like, if you're building a fantasy team, I would absolutely build that roster.
Sure.
If I need to win basketball games.
No, I really like the way Dan handles it with, like, you have your guys that you kind of like bring through the program that you build a team around, and then you add some transfer portal pieces that fit into that system. You're not just grabbing the top 8 people that you can get out of the transfer portal and then trying to figure it out as you go along.
I really think it's similar. I mean, look, I don't think we're that
Painter
much
does the
different.
same thing.
I don't think we're that much different from Villanova was under, Jay Wright's later years, where if they called us a system program, I would be like, I'd salute somebody. I will take being a system program. Like, I think we have a system and it works, and you plug in the right pieces. Not to say we don't get NBA talent here, but because you got to have dudes to win. You got to have Donovan Clingan. You have to have Stephen Castle. You have to have Jordan Hawkins. You have to have those guys. But the way we play such a specific way, I think there's a lot to be said for, here's how we do things. This is what our identity is going to be offensively and defensively and attitude-wise. And, like, what are the plug-and-play pieces that we need in that? Now, I think they misjudged that a little bit last year, but, like, really outside of that, Mahaney obviously being the monster whiff last year, there haven't been a lot of whiffs in the portal in terms of finding the right supplement guys, and there haven't been a lot of whiffs in terms of them identifying the right young guys that can come in and be real impact pieces for us. So I think it's just having an identity, whereas, like, I look at guys like Calipari and Self, and they've been banging around for so long, that I think they're comfortable coaching a lot of different kinds of teams, and are comfortable sort of letting guys figure things out over a period of time. And then I also just think, well, I don't know. They're two different cases, I guess I should say. I mean, Calipari just really benefited from cheating for a long time when nobody else could. And, not to say he's a bad coach. I mean, Arkansas is still clearly competitive. And so was Kentucky to a degree. But they're not what they were, right? And I think Bill's also having a harder time, trying to find a real identity for what Kansas basketball stylistically needs to be heading forward. They put so many of their eggs in the what's his face basket this year. It's too
Peterson.
much. Yeah, Peterson.
Yeah, I do think though when he comes back, they're gonna round it into form.
Yeah, no,
It all seems
once
like
he comes
it's gonna
back,
work out.
he's gonna come back on Sunday. Like, it's been funny watching I kind of get it because of the way their last two seasons have gone and this season to some degree. And I think this is part of why, for the people who were at both games we went out there, they said this year was crazier. Like, that fan base knew they needed to help try and carry the Jayhawks. Tuesday night, it was a huge opportunity for them to get a major win for their resume. Like, they lost to Carolina, they lost to Duke. The UConn game was they're going to have plenty of big opportunities being in the Big 12, but it was a chance for them to get the first big one, and also they were shorthanded Monday night. So Peterson's going to come back. They're going to play. They're going to be much better. That's why part of why that win's going to age so well for UConn in terms of the metrics is that it's going to be a much better Kansas team that UConn will be getting credit for having a win over. So they've got that going forward for them. Hopefully, I hope he comes back. It's good for the sport to have high-end players like him and DeBanza involved, and Cameron Boozer at Duke, who looks incredible. So, and the UConn now has Mullins, who tonight had a great second half. So, finally, Braylon Mullins got the real challenge. By the way,
Yeah.
Finally tonight he got the real challenge. It wasn't playing Illinois on Black Friday. It wasn't playing at Allen Fieldhouse. It was the East Texas A&M Lions from Commerce.
Now, my only real thought about the game tonight, it was nice to see Furphy get some minutes. He had a nice basket. I don't really see much of a chance for him to get a lot of playing. Well, we'll see how the Big East goes. But
I was going to say, you wait till those ball games come up.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy.
But he looks good. So we'll see how it goes. But
Yeah,
I think
looking
that
forward
kid's gonna
to
have
it.
a nice future.
Thank you, Penfield. Go have some sweet some lozenges and some hot tea, and I will see you Tuesday, correct?
Yes, I'll be there.
Tremendous. Excellent. Thank you, Penfield. Another man who was with us on Tuesday out in the Midwest and has gone back to slumming it in some of the absolute shitholes of the sport that I love. Jaden Daly, what MAC game were you at this evening?
Greetings, gentlemen. Came back to watch after watching another Connecticut team, Quinnipiac, blow the doors off of Iona up in New Rochelle. Not quite the Palestra or Allen Fieldhouse, but right at home, given what I've done for the last decade and a half.
Yeah, that was a pretty big statement win for the Cats to open up MAC play. As Iona
Yeah, I'm about to
over.
Yeah, I'm about to write that up after I get off here with you fine people. Connor was at Gamble. I just shared his recap.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's great to have. Will we be seeing you Tuesday?
You will be seeing both of us on Tuesday.
Oh, big game. Wait, did you give him the UConn game and you're going to do BYU Clemson? Or
fuck that. I'm not doing BYU Clemson. We're both doing UConn.
Okay, fair. I had to ask.
No, it's a fair question. It's a valid question.
Yeah, don't shake your fucking head at me. The Metro getting league play underway tonight. The Big Ten did earlier this week. So we're getting to that time of year now where it's going to get into league play for the normal leagues as well as those two weirdos. So I'm excited for that. It's actually a huge weekend. Tomorrow's an incredible slate.
Yeah, Michigan State hosting that other team that I could give two shits about.
That would be Duke at noon. That is on Fox. Yeah,
it's another
tomorrow,
big 12 o'clock game. Is it Purdue and who the hell's playing Purdue?
Purdue is playing Iowa State at Mackey at noon.
That's the 12. That's the other 12 o'clock game. That's on Channel 2.
Yes. Channel 2 in New York, Channel 3 in Connecticut, CBS to everybody else. So because the networks are accommodating college football with championship games, the really good games tomorrow are loaded right up at noon. So you've got Iowa State, Purdue. I say tomorrow. It's in about 10 minutes. Iowa State at Purdue is at noon on CBS. Duke at Michigan State is at noon on Fox. Duke is playing at Michigan State because when COVID hit in 2021, they moved the Champions Classic to Duke, and one of the other game, the Kansas-Kentucky game, didn't end up happening because of COVID testing. So that year they just played Michigan State at Duke, only because Michigan State only agreed to it if eventually Duke would come back to Michigan State. Here we are 5 years later. They're finally paying it off. So that's why
Shire
Duke's at
actually
Michigan
did it.
Yeah. So those two games are the noon games. You've also got Louisville at Indiana
Mm-hmm.
at just after 2 on CBS. And of course, Rutgers at Michigan at 4 o'clock on Big Ten Network. I bet that goes well.
Yeah, that'll be a massacre.
Jaden.
Yeah, they did.
Was Quinnipiac anticipating this from Samson Riley?
You know what? I don't even know. But Cora liked what he saw from him in limited action. He always talks him up. He's the son of a coach, and he has coaching instincts on the floor. I didn't get enough of a sample size to see what he's really about, so I look forward to seeing more of him as the year goes on. Grant Randall was the one who really impressed me.
Well, Samson Riley's the local kid. He played at East Catholic.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Good to know.
Might be interesting for some of the listeners.
I'm not as ingrained on the Connecticut high school scene as you find people, so whatever information I get, I'm fortunate to get from you. So thank you.
Sure.
So Jaden, I want to ask you, I'm sorry if I'm being redundant, what was it like to cover your first game at the Fog the other night?
It was phenomenal because of the company I was in. Let's just put it that way.
That's the answer that I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Thank you for gassing us up. It wasn't necessary, but I appreciate it.
I wouldn't make that trip with St. John's.
Speaking of, tomorrow evening, will you be at the Garden?
No, I will be in Philly for the Big 5 tripleheader.
Oh, tremendous. Oh, that's much better.
Well, Sal Drexel at 2, Temple St. Joe's at 4:30, Villanova Penn at 7:30 in the de facto title game.
Yeah, but it's at the FU Center, which is disappointing.
That's the Core States Center to you, or the Wachovia Center. Yeah, Core State Spectrum. Good call.
Ooh, that's a missing narrative tomorrow night. AJ Storr making his St. John's return.
Yeah. Wonder if his psycho mom will be in attendance.
It's a pretty good chance, I think.
Seriously, we should get Annette Brandy and Tashid Carr together at some point.
Oh, that would. I've never had less comment in my entire life.
Yeah.
It's a huge game for St. John's tomorrow night, and it's like, by the way, their schedule now hasn't really shaped up the way they would have thought. Suddenly, that Kentucky game in Atlanta, by the way, you better win that.
Yes, just lose it.
Tomorrow night, Ole Miss on Peacock, 8 p.m. at the Garden. Ole Miss is careening out of control. You hate to see it for Chris Beard. A huge chance for St. John's to get their second impressive win of the year. That's 8 o'clock on Peacock.
The
8 o'clock window is really good.
That is a Fanta Donnie Marshall game, by the way, like tonight was.
I'm going to guess they spent most of the second half talking about it tonight because I would have if I were them. You also got 8 o'clock on ESPN Illinois. It's their first game since the UConn loss. Illinois playing Tennessee in Nashville. God forbid, home and home on campus. That's Music City Madness presented by Charity Water. Whatever that means.
So,
and 10 o'clock, Hot Balls. This is for you. 10 o'clock. Auburn goes to the McHale Center on ESPN.
Exciting stuff. Which, by the way, you just brought him up.
8.5 point favorite.
By the way, I just want to bring this up just because, Jaden, you sparked my curiosity here. Ahmad Noel, currently this year, averaging 14 minutes a game for VCU, 4.9 points per game, an assist, under a steal a game.
Wow.
69% from the free throw line and 31% from 3 points.
Well, it's a good thing his AAU high school coach knows what he's doing. So seems to be working out.
Yeah,
great for him.
Your thoughts on tonight up at Gamble? I didn't see anything other than the final score and whatever tweets.
lethargic
A sloppy
effort
shit
in the
show.
first
We're a
half.
team that was very, very tired and obviously coming off of a very difficult game from a couple days ago. Looked exactly like you'd think that they would look.
Expected. So basically, the New Haven game reprised.
Yeah, to some degree.
Yeah.
The one difference tonight is that UConn in the second half, they did look much better. Not that it necessarily matters. The second half, they 19 for 31 from the field. They were 3 for 10 from three. The second half, we got Braylon Mullins. The first half, he was pretty quiet. Second half, he kind of lit it up. At one point, went on a bit of a run himself. So, choosing to believe in that, and then Dan put in the entire end of the bench for the last 4 minutes. So.
Oh, good. So Mal will be happy tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes, I was with Mal at the game tonight, so that was watching her experience. The first half was really funny that after he lit up Allen Fieldhouse in the first half, he couldn't solve East Texas A&M at home. That's why they're freshmen, folks.
It was
These things happen.
Well, it was a quick turnaround for UConn, but East Texas A&M also had like 9 or 10 days to prepare for this game. So
Yes. Yeah, and I mean they're not much. Their last game was Tuesday, November 23rd against Army. So, and they had blown them out. So, yeah, they had 10 days off to get ready for UConn, while UConn had to just recover from, going through a jet engine on Tuesday night.
Actually,
So,
East Texas
we'll see
A&M
what-
played a game after Army.
What, they play an exhibition?
No, they played FDU on. Oh, when the hell did they play FDU?
I think it was the
No,
next day.
FDU
Next day.
FDU was first. They did a back-to-back. They played at FDU, and then they played Army. It was FDU's tournament.
Yeah, it was the MTA. And they came back from down double digits in both of those games.
Yeah, I'll give some love to a couple of their guys tonight who had nice nights. Damian Garcia, who did not mind putting shots up, finished with 12 points, 4 for 12 from the field. Harrison was pretty impressive though, 15 and 6. That's a guy now. His on-off splits won't be great tonight, but that's the sort of game where he gets the tape out there. Portal season hits. I don't know where he goes. I mean, UConn's getting
Was he the
some
conference player of the year last year in the Southland? I know they had him on the roster.
I doubt it. Now with McNeese being the way they were.
No, he was on Tarleton last year anyway.
Okay,
Who
take a look.
is in the WAC. So he fled Billy Gillespie to head over to Commerce. But he's having a nice year, and he has 1 year left after this, I presume. I mean, he's a junior. So the interesting thing about Ronnie Harrison is he actually didn't play last year after like December 8th, so it must have gotten hurt.
Maybe he gets a medical red shirt.
Yeah, he's a guy he's been a pretty reliable player for them this year against, mostly a weak schedule. I mean, they lost to New Mexico, they lost to Hawaii, they lost at Rice. Tonight was by far their toughest opponent. But it's the sort of, the game where if you want to have a good game tape, going against UConn's as good of a place as any. I would note they are underdogs in all but 2 of their remaining games, according to Ken Baum. So tonight, yeah, by far, they're at Texas A&M a few days before Christmas, but UConn's much better. So biggest test of the year that they have on paper. Great experience for those kids who weren't on the team last year. That's the thing. If you're any good on that team last year, you got picked over. It's a whole new roster every year. It's so hard. Jaden, you know this from talking to coaches at the low major. It's just impossible.
Yeah, it's. I talked to coaches over the summer now, and they're telling me in July that they have no idea what they're going to have. It's pushed back my off-season preview content into freaking September now.
Yeah, you have to wait
that's
so long.
Every sport now. It's so brutal. I was talking to Division I baseball coach last week of July, this past summer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, students have to be, especially student athletes, have to be on campus by anywhere from like
June 30th, right?
August 15th through probably the 25th, somewhere in there.
Okay,
Spring athletes, at least, have to be enrolled on campus. So this is last week of June, he had 19 players on his roster. He still needed
that's insane.
15 baseball players to add to his roster.
Jeez.
That was a Metro Atlantic coach. So, portal's great for us, guys. Lots of fun every year. For most places, it is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Well,
Fun.
that solves that, gentlemen. This Quinnipiac Iona piece isn't going to write itself, so let me shut the fuck up and let somebody else come on. Love you guys. I'll see you Tuesday. For those of you coming to the Garden, let me know where you're at. I'll come find you during the BYU Clemson game because I have nothing else to write about there.
Yeah, there's nothing on the Bants of the hat. Everybody else isn't writing. Thank you, Jaden.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Real quick, folks curious around the league this weekend. So, yeah, we got St. John's Ole Miss tomorrow at 8. Penn Nova, 7:30 tomorrow. Butler, Boise State, a sneaky important game for Butler. If this thing is real with them, they got to win that game at home. Like, full stop. Boise State lost to Hawaii Pacific. So
don't want to get over my skis on that. They're scratching around top 40 in KenPom.
Yeah.
They are at 41.
And that's
If
with all the
they can
preseason stuff still in there, which thought they'd stink.
Yeah. I mean, if they can get themselves in that top 30, man, look out. Not for us, but like that's huge help to the Big East. What an unexpected gift that would be for the league.
It needs to be because Creighton's taken another injury today.
Yeah, they're a mess.
They are a mess, and they have to go into Pinnacle Bank on Sunday. Creighton at Nebraska. It's a tough spot for Creighton. I mean, everywhere's a tough spot right now. Seton Hall Saturday gets to go visit our friend Jerome Tang, who had a rough Monday night, getting blown out at home by Bowling Green. Seton Hall, it's the Octagon of Doom, but like that would be a great win for the league if Seton Hall can just get that. Tomorrow at noon today is the annual shit show that is Providence URI. This year it is at the Dunk or at the Amp. So we'll see what the hell that looks like. And if Kim isn't in enough trouble now, go ahead and lose that game and see what happens.
How bad is Rhode Island this year? Where are they on the old KenPom?
95th.
Looking for them. 95th.
This happened last year. Archie is 7-2 with losses to Tulsa and Towson. Their best win is Yale. Not a bad win. I will note that last year they started 9-0 and they finished 18-13.
Man, oh man, is the A10 fucking careening to now?
No, it's actually, you say that the A10's actually had a really good start. Led by arguably George Mason, who's 9-0, and whose head coach is who Providence should hire, and they won't do it. George Mason today or Saturday at Virginia Tech. My upset pick is George Mason to win that game. I don't like rooting for it, folks, given that school, but they're really good. Xavier, who had the fabulous win tonight in the Crosstown Shootout, is off forever. They are off a week until they play Missouri State, a game they will probably lose, but at least they had tonight. Speaking of disasters, Marquette is at Wisconsin at 2 p.m. I don't believe that's going to go very well.
Oh my God. Is Marquette in the 70s finally?
No, 86. They're not even close.
Oh my God.
Big win over Valpo in OT.
Good God.
Which at one point, Penfield, who was next to me on Tuesday, he motioned to me about the Valpo Marquette score in OT, and I was like, that's funny, but if you think this is my focus right now.
So, I hope everybody's sitting down for this. Marquette right now, 107th in offensive efficiency, 72nd in defensive efficiency.
Everybody zones them. They were the worst. They're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country. They are. Yeah.
250th.
250th. They're shooting 31.4% from three. Nobody should play zone against them, including the UConn Huskies. Rather.
They're 213th in field goal percentage.
Yeah, well, the problem is that they're in the top half of Division I, more than the top half in terms of how often they take threes, but they can't make threes. So they should stop taking threes because it's not going to get better. There's no one on this roster that is capable, outside of Chase Ross, of suddenly becoming a good 3-point shooter. Nevertheless, he persisted.
Oh my God. I'm like shocked looking at their Ken Palm numbers right now. Like I knew it was really bad. I wasn't expecting good. Had them in the 70s. They're in the 80s. They're scratching around the 90s.
They're a high tempo team that runs up and down the court and shoots threes that can't make threes and doesn't have players to play. They should play slow. They should stop pushing pace like immediately. They are not equipped to do it. Anyway,
what are they going to do?
Honestly, like
they're going to get to
if
know
there's
Wednesday night at the Big East tournament.
but like honestly, if there's a team that can like withstand having like a massively down year, it would be Marquette, since they don't use the portal anyway, and they try to prioritize guys that are going to be there for 4 years. So it probably will impact them going forward less than other programs.
Will it?
I'd like to think so.
If he doesn't use the portal after this year,
Like, so they go out and like, I mean, here's the thing with like young kids and that have talent that might not be ready to like be at a certain level, but like realize that like they're going to play us and Purdue. Like, don't forget that. They have Wisconsin tomorrow. They have Purdue next Saturday. And then they have us January 4th.
They're at Purdue. Jesus wept.
And like, they're, you get self-conscious about this shit. Like, is this the place I should be at? Is this like going to allow me to get to where I need to get to? And like, they're going to see us in Purdue and be like, they're going to see St. John's, honestly, because they haven't seen a really good team yet. Indiana's 24th on Ken Palm, probably 24th on Ken Palm because Marquette helped gas their numbers up a little bit. They lost to Maryland, lost to Dayton. Maryland's 90th on Ken Palm. Dayton's 62nd. Oklahoma's 46. Those are like kind of those are off bubble teams. I mean, they haven't even played a good team yet. They're going to see Purdue and us. Like, good God. Like, if you're a 4-star recruit, that's like a guy in the top 70s and you're going to be sticking around a college program for 2-3 years, or you're going to be in college, like, that's where you're going to want to be. That shit is whiplash when you see what it really looks like. I don't know, man. That's scary as shit.
We don't know what their conversations looked like.
We don't. Their projected record right now, 13-18 on Ken Palm.
Oh, God.
That is a little bit more than a down year.
Holy hell. Last two teams we didn't touch on in the league. Georgetown has a huge game. 5:00 at UNC. I mean, it's a big ask, but if they want to be a serious contender for the NCAA tournament, at least put a good effort in there.
They're down there, right?
Yeah, it's at Carolina.
Yeah.
They had the good start. They dropped a really tough OT game to Dayton in the MTE, which also meant that they then didn't play BYU. Instead, they played Miami and got pretty soundly beaten, which was not helpful. Carolina win would be a huge win for their resume, because right now the problem they're going to run into is, even if they're decent, if they go decently in the Big East, their best win is going to be Clemson, and that's not.
It's not going to get
like
done.
it's good. It's good for where they were, but it's not getting you in the NCAA tournament, I don't think. The last team we didn't address would be the DePaul Blue Demons, who had what some may call a bit of a rough go of it in their MTE, losing by 23 points to Louisiana State. They get back on the horse tomorrow against Arkansas Pine Bluff.
11-point favorites. Got that going for them.
We'll see. By the way, DePaul also gets the beautiful start of Big East play of at St. John's, home for UConn. So that'll be right out the gate, just blasting them.
Yeah, their winning percentage in the Big East, I don't think they have one game where they are over 50% favored to win. As Georgetown at home. That's it.
Not great. But a big day for the league. UConn gets to put their feet up until Tuesday, when it's a literally a huge challenge down at the Garden. I can't wait for it. That's going to be, I mean, it won't be as big of a shit show as Tuesday's space, but it's going to be just as late because that game is tipping off. Probably, I have to check what time the Clemson game is because the BYU Clemson game is first, and that's 6:30. So it might really tip at 9, but we'll be with you Tuesday night eventually, folks.
We don't know. Maybe it will be from Sage's base. We're just going to have to talk him into being on the show.
We're going to have to because I can't figure out where else we would go. Oh, it's the meanest thing we've ever done that didn't involve Postradamus flipping off. But I felt bad. I brought him in. Posty, are you still here? He probably just fell asleep, like most of you listening.
He was here and then I think his space is broke.
He doesn't deserve to defend himself. He knows what he did. But we formed lifelong bonds.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky that there is a thing called the Bill of Rights to protect us all.
He's well aware of it, turns out. Thanks to his legal counsel, Husky Slide.
The best part is he ended up with a piece of their Final Four court.
It's the wildest way that ended. That's crazy that happened.
Like, went from literally almost getting chased out of the arena and beaten to death to getting a piece of arguably the most important token or piece of one of the most important things in that program's history of the last 15 years in his pocket on an airplane going back to Texas. What an arc. You know, he's always kind of been that mid-card guy. I felt like that was his big Survivor Series run, you know? His big run in the Rumble. Got in early, started drinking before everybody, did exactly what we expected him to do at the game. Did even more of what we expected him to do after the game, by the way. And walked away with the scalp, the actual scalp. That was like a scalp, I thought.
It's pretty incredible. The whole now we have to shut up about it because we're on to like Florida and stuff. But
yeah.
In our defense, also, I mean, it was only like 3 days ago.
It was only 3 days ago. Nobody listened to the other space, or they did. I didn't even look at the numbers yet.
No, they've listened. I don't know what they should have, but they did. And thank you for those of you who did. We also had the fun 5-minute one right outside Allen Fieldhouse, which featured me complaining about parking, or traffic.
Yeah, by the way, Hurley Mania got hosed by last parking in Kansas City.
It was only $2, but the fact that I went to go pay to park, and
You're still upset about it.
And it said it was Laz. God damn it. Who am I suffering at?
Got like a 5-0 record against you. They just keep stacking the bodies. All right. I'm exhausted.
And then there was the men's hockey Twitter account that.
Did they call you out tonight finally?
Oh, they did.
Yeah, good.
Great job. 3-0 win in North Andover. I will see some of you tomorrow night at Toscano Family Ice Forum, and I have an ugly sweater for the occasion, as they requested.
Wow. They're really turning you into a circus sideshow, aren't they?
Well, it wasn't just it's a theme night. And my wife and I decided to go to Marshall's and just do our worst.
Yeah. What kind of tell me about the theme. What do we got going on? Just the ugly sweater.
It's ugly sweater night. It's ugly sweater night.
So paint us a picture. Paint the picture. Or is this like a thing that you're requiring people to show up and be surprised by because nobody could buy tickets to the hockey games?
No one's allowed. No one's allowed. I'll give you one hint, one word: cream. It's a cream-colored sweater. I will start there.
You would buy a cream-colored sweater, wouldn't you?
I mean, yes, I did. But if you're looking for ugly sweaters, folks, Marshall's has a lot of
I don't know if you think that that's ugly.
No, I do. Lots of Santa-themed ones at Marshall's that were way more. My wife, she was like, that's too much. I like the Tyrannosaurus Rex one. She said no. There were lots of cats wearing lights, the Christmas lights and antlers. She said no, which surprised me. But here we are. So tomorrow night, ugly sweater night at Toscano. And we get to kick our feet up this weekend and watch all the other top 25 teams beat the hell out of each other. Maybe Iowa State beats Purdue, helps UConn in the polls. But tall task going into Mackey.
Iowa State, kind of a interesting little sneaky team. Them and Vanderbilt really haven't played. I mean, Iowa State's got to win over St. John's. Outside of that, it's a little light. See
Which
what
is
they're
wild,
really
given
made
that
of.
they were at Players era. Like, they managed to be the one team that went to Players era and didn't get a ton of a challenge.
Didn't they just shoot like 22 for 30 from 3 last game?
Cash Rod, are you underwater?
Didn't Iowa State just shoot like 22 from 30 for 30 from 3 last game?
Perhaps.
Against Alcorn State, probably. That would 22 of 30 from 3.
Absurd.
They beat Alcorn State 132-68.
Yeah, they are currently third in the country in 3-point percentage at third.
By the way, the UConn UMass Lowell game is still rocking number 1 in the dominance rankings on Ken Pom. Iowa State, Alcorn State, merely 4th. So we've got that going for us. So anyway, Tuesday night, very late in the big city, as UConn goes back to the Garden to try and avenge the 2025 NCAA tournament loss to the Florida Gators. As the last 3 national champions meet at the Garden. Should be great. Can't wait.
I'm excited. What's your call on the game? Give me a bold prediction.
I think Silas has a huge night. I think Silas is game MVP. That's my prediction. I don't know if it's bold. I also think Terrace Reed plays.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got us by 7. I'm going to go with us by 7.
It's weird because that's an amount we haven't seen UConn win a game like this by in a while. I mean, Kansas was the first one. It's usually they win a game like this. They usually win pretty comfortably.
I think it's going to be a 2-possession game for most of the game, and I think a couple free throws. It's going to get us to that 3-possession territory. I just haven't seen enough from their guards. I think Silas might do some horrific things to Xavier Lee.
Here's a prediction. I think UConn full court presses him a little bit early.
Oh,
wow! Full court
concept.
press on him. I know. I want to make Xavier Lee try and deal with that.
And I want to see if Boogie Flan's brain breaks within the first 10 minutes of the game. I think that'll be another big thing. Because Boogie does have the capacity to be crazy every now and then and do some wild shit. If he has a really good game, I think we could have our hands full. But I think he's the guy that, look, their bigs are going to do what they're going to do. I think Terrace is going to be enough for Chinlu. Everybody else, I don't know. Boogie's the piece I think I would opt to take off the board offensively. As crazy as that sounds. So I don't think he's their most dangerous guy, but I think there's a huge mismatch. Silas, probably take the other guard right off the floor. Like, play to your strengths. I would take a ton of threes on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think
fuck ton of threes on
Solo, Alex, Braylon, rise and fire. Jalen Stewart's good for a couple.
Well, Florida takes a ton of threes.
Jaden Ross gonna feel himself.
Well, that's gonna be the thing too. Is like they play the 3 big lineup now, so it's gonna be interesting how we defend them.
Florida's shooting 27.4% from three-point land this year,
which is nuts given the amount that they take.
Yeah, 14th most in the country.
So it should be a hell of a matchup. It's a big test for UConn, but so what's up next, man? This is the way the schedule is built for a reason. And like you said, Hot Balls, if they get through this one, it's going to be an upset pretty much the rest of the way that gets them.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, this is a big hurdle tomorrow. On Tuesday, rather, if they can get through that. It's harder to see a loss on there. They will lose. They're going to lose a game somewhere in there. I don't know where it's going to be. It will be hilarious. I'll laugh at it. They could split with St. John's.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
I would take a Seton Hall split now.
I would be really difficult to see where they're going to. I don't know. We'll see what Butler looks like. But other than that, man, it is going
Villanova.
Yeah, Nova has a good night. That could be kind of interesting.
They
but
don't get Villanova till halfway through the conference season. And
if you look at KenPom the rest of the way through, I mean, we got 55, 41, 118, 81, 86, 71, 118, 66, 88. We don't face a top 40 team until Villanova on January 24th.
Lots of time for Braylon Mullins and maybe Jacob Furphy to even get involved here, if this goes the way it's supposed to go. So we'll see. Until then, Tuesday night should be awesome. I can't wait. I haven't been to the last time I was at a game at the Garden, I realized was the 2024 Big East Championship game. So
really,
yeah, I didn't go to St. John's last year, obviously, and I didn't go to the Illinois game this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, actually, that's probably St. John's is probably it for me. So it's been a little while. It's been a minute.
Yeah, for you it would be the semifinal game. Yeah, in 24.
Yeah.
So yeah, going to be great. Hopefully, see everybody out at. I mean, most of you will be at Legends. We'll see where I end up.
Or where we all end up. We have to coordinate too, by the way, getting down there. And then we got to figure out where we're going to do the show.
True.
Sage's stoop. He doesn't even understand yet. He doesn't have a chance. We're going to be all set up down there. Do you think he got like a whole studio down there? What do you think he's done down there?
No, he doesn't have one down there.
Crazy stuff down there, I bet.
I hope the Peloton bike is still sitting there holding up laundry. That was fun.
We're going to find out. Well, folks, we're going to see you on Tuesday night at the Garden, UConn, Florida, the last 3 national champs, all in one place. Looking forward to it. It'll be a nice Tuesday evening in New York City. But until then, guys, we'll come to you live after the game for the recap. I don't know where and when, what that's going to look like, but we will be there to recap all the action as usual here on Connecticut Basketball Spaces, brought to you by Store Central. Until then, you guys know the routine. Keep in touch with yourselves, everybody. Have a great night.